class is officially back in session, and welcome to another episode of Relationship Boss Academy. I hope you're doing amazing and that you're having a good week so far. Excuse me while I'm trying to nurse this eye of mine. My husband thought it was a good idea to shove my dog's face into my face because he doesn't look at what he's doing, and I'm pretty convinced that I'm gonna have a black eye. Like, I'm almost fully convinced that I'm gonna have a black eye. My dog is just my puppy is in this phase where she's just like, she doesn't listen. Like, she's in her teen years. She is turning a year old next month, and it is just utter chaos. She is like being so rebellious, and then like she's so cute. Like, she's literally the definition of a Sour Patch Kid. But like, I can't stay mad at her. I also can't be serious enough to train her because she's just so freaking cute. And I can't be mean. I can't be stern. I'm screwed. Like, I'm just screwed, you know. But you know, we're thriving. We're getting through the day. It's actually a really beautiful day. The sun is out. And I've been like really thinking about couples who get disconnected and then have to really reconnect. And why have I been thinking about this? Because I keep getting questions about it. Every time I go live on TikTok, people ask me how to rekindle the spark, how to reignite the spark, how to reconnect with your partner. What do you do if you feel disconnected? So I wanted to obviously talk about it because this happens all of the time. This is like a normal thing in relationships to sometimes feel completely disconnected from your partner. So if you feel disconnected, if you feel something is off, if you feel like life has just gotten in the way, because life does get in the way, okay? It's normal. Your relationship is not ruined. It's not doomed. You guys aren't going to break up, but you have to do something about it. We don't want to stay in that place of feeling disconnected. The goal is to reconnect. So every single time I feel as if me and my husband are disconnected, I really make it a point to bring it up, to talk about it, to make it come to the surface instead of ignore it and let too much time go by, because that's when you start to really dig yourself into a hole and it becomes way harder to get back out of. And some think that by bringing it to the surface, it's like asking too much or nagging your partner or complaining or whatever the case may be, but that is so not true. You have to kind of be very aware of the dynamics in your relationship so that you can keep your relationship in a really good place, because I've talked about it before, but your relationship is going to ride a wave. It's going to feel up sometimes. It's going to feel down sometimes. It's going to feel a little bit sideways and a little bit bizarre and a little bit just off course and a little bit off track. But that's where the self-awareness and the awareness of the status of your relationship is so beyond important, and not to drown yourself in the life things and like lose yourself completely and like lose the dynamics of your relationship in the kids, in work, in your career, in all of these different things that do happen around us. And you make sure that you become aware when you're disconnected so you can come back together and reconnect. You have to talk about it. You have to bring it to the surface. You can't avoid it. It's not a hard conversation. It's not confronting your partner. Just talk to them about it. Just say, listen, I feel like we've been a little disconnected lately. Like, how do we get back on track? What do we need? What are we craving? What do we do? My favorite way to reconnect, and the thing that I like to, suggest to my clients the most, is start small, okay? If life is getting in the way, like, life's not going to just stop because you need to reconnect with your partner, but it's important to reconnect with your partner. So start focusing on the little things again, right? Start doing the little things consistently again in your relationship. I'm sure you've done it before, and if not, now's a great time to start. What do I mean by the little things? Okay, holding your partner's hand for like when you're on a walk. Actually go for a walk together. Like, can you remember the last time, like, fall is my favorite season, you guys. And when I walk around in the fall, when the sun is out and there's a breeze, and I get to walk and hold my husband's hand and be present in that moment, even if we're walking the dogs, like, that feels connected to me, because We're not on our phones. We are reconnecting. We are out and we get to talk to each other, and I get to look at nature and feel the sun on my face and laugh with him and be with him without any distractions. That is such a small but intentional thing that you can do. Maybe you start deciding that you're going to go on nightly walks together. Before the sun goes down, you take a 20-minute walk together, because not only are you reconnecting, you're also getting your steps in. I know everybody wants to get our steps in these days, plus we should be getting our steps in these days, walking at least 20 to 40 minutes a day. And this way you can do it with your partner. Make it a routine. Make this something that you two do together every single night, right? That's something so small, but such a meaningful way to reconnect. All right. And when you are on said walk, give a little physical touch. Don't be afraid to hold your partner's hand. Stop and hug for a second and kiss for a second, right? That's another little thing we should be doing more frequently. Is we pass by each other so much probably throughout the day, coming and going and doing things and getting ready and taking showers and going to the bathroom and cooking dinner and moving past one another. But when do you really stop as you're passing each other to hold each other, to kiss, to take in a moment with one another, instead of just being consistently on the move and doing things and getting stuff done, right? So the next time that you pass by each other in the kitchen or on the way to the bathroom to even just go to the bathroom, grab your partner's arm gently, not aggressively. We don't, you know what I'm saying. And pull them in for a kiss. Pull them in and hug them and hold them just a little bit longer and kiss just a little bit longer. Reconnect with them. Those are little things, right? Little things also, sitting on the couch. And I'm so guilty of doing this with my partner. We will both be on opposite ends of the couch for majority of the night. We're watching TV and I watch my show. My husband watches his show on his computer. We're still together in the same vicinity, which I do appreciate and I do enjoy. It's not like we're in separate rooms watching our own stuff, but I do become very aware of when we've been doing it for too long of a period of time. And I will either ask him to come and sit next to me for a second and just talk to me and connect with me for a minute, or I'll scooch over to him and cuddle with him and lean in with him and, hang out with him for a minute as well. Those little things matter so much, because it's the thought behind it that counts. We can get lost in our day-to-days, but when we realize that our partner thought about us in that moment to come over to us and to reconnect with us and to cuddle with us and or to give us a kiss, that feels so good, right? I also say little things of reconnection. If you're going out or you're at a work dinner or you're out to dinner with your friends, but you know that your partner's at home and they haven't eaten, text them and be like, hey, you want me to bring you something home? You want me to bring you dinner home? It's the thought behind everything that counts when it comes to reconnecting with each other. And it's in those small moments that you're able to reconnect more frequently and more consistently. Don't get me wrong. We love a reconnecting moment in a date night. Okay, we love date nights. We should be having date nights. I always encourage my clients when they need to reconnect with each other to also start planning 2 date nights per month, right? You plan a date night, your partner plans a date night, and you guys have fun date nights planned that aren't just, dinners. You're doing things that are more fun and adventurous than that spark laughter and or, fuel your inner child, like go-kart racing. I planned us to go on a date one time, and I booked us this go-kart racing thing, and then my husband planned a date where we went mini golfing and we went to an arcade, and it's about thinking outside of the box. One of the things that we also love to do is to build a fort in the living room, like a pillow fort. We blow up the air mattress and put it in the living room and string it with twinkle lights and watch movies and have popcorn and candy and have a movie night. It doesn't have to be spending an extravagant amount of money. But, yes, we love date nights. Do date nights. do day dates, plan things for each other in an effort to reconnect, yes. But I really do believe wholeheartedly that the way we reconnect if we are feeling disconnected in our relationships happens in the small things that we are able to do consistently. Because that's what matters most, if you really think about it, to keep you connected, to avoid the disconnect. Because if you're always doing the little things, it's a lot more digestible and it's a lot more kind of, I want to say, like easier to implement in your relationship than having to plan these huge extravagant date nights. Listen, if planning huge extravagant date nights are easy for you, then by all means, we love that for you. But like, I'm talking about how life does get in the way. And so it becomes so easy to ignore your partner's needs, or to not cater to the things your partner loves, or to just like live in your own separate world, even though you live together. Like it's easy to drift apart. But if you stop each other in the hallway and kiss for a little bit longer than normal, or hug each other and really connect, or have that nightly walk that you do together, or leave each other little love notes for each other to find, or if you go to the market and you're in the checkout line and you're like, oh, my partner's favorite candy is a Snickers. Let me grab them a Snickers. It's the thought behind it that counts, that keeps you connected. And it's those little things that you can do consistently, because we want consistency. When there's consistency, there's trust. When there's consistency, we're operating on that really beautiful wavelength of just like ebbing and flowing in our partnership. And it doesn't become so easy to just completely disconnect from one another when life does happen. Even if you wanted to go to bed like an hour earlier each night, because I do understand and I can empathize, but some people do have really busy lives. They really have a lot going on, you know, and I know that, you know, my sister, her partner works full time. He also coaches football. They like are passing ships in the night. She travels all the time. She, you know, has a million different friends. Like, they're busy. And so they also have to be very intentional about reconnecting with each other. And I always like to say, go to bed like an hour early. Go to bed like 30 minutes even early. And use that time to put your phones down and to talk to each other, to connect and to be like, how was your day? Like, what good thing happened to you today? Did anything bad happen to you today? Did anything sucky happen? Like, let's talk about it. You know, what does the rest of your week look like? And those emotional type of conversations too, even before bed, if you make it a regular thing, it's going to potentially lead to some physical intimacy as well, because you're nurturing the emotional intimacy. And I'm going to do a whole episode on emotional intimacy, because I think that some people are still confused on what emotional intimacy really is. But when it comes to reconnecting, you just have to be intentional about it. You have to understand that, sure, life is going to get in the way, but it's really important that you reconnect with your partner. And you have to ask yourself, okay, how can I be intentional about these things and about these moments? And if you don't even want to be reconnecting with your partner, that's a whole nother conversation that we need to have. A whole nother conversation. But there should be this desire within you, especially if you're even listening to this episode, to want to reconnect. So put your phones down, be intentional, think of the little things that you can do more frequently, that maybe you even used to do when you guys first met or started dating, whether it's just like a casual slap on the ass as you pass by each other, and then that leads into something that feels more like playful and fun and where you can laugh. You know, I've been really noticing lately, my husband and I have been laughing so much together. I don't know if it's because of the puppy and it's because of the dog, so she gives us a reason to really laugh, or we are more present in our lives and connected to the fact that life is meant to be fun and it's meant to not be so serious all the time, and it's not going to always look perfect. And there will be times that we've accepted that we disconnect from one another, but we trust that we will always reconnect with each other because we have the intention and we have the tools and we have the awareness to be able to do so, which feels lighthearted in our lives. And I think that it's just also when we don't take life so seriously, or we don't take like struggles that we go through too seriously and understand that struggles are going to happen, but I can do hard things and I'm going to get through it and I'm going to get over it. Like, it makes it so much better. It makes life so much more fun. And it makes the ability to reconnect with each other so much more doable when it's not taken so doom and gloom and so seriously. And we want to do it, right? So if you take anything from this episode, I want you to think, if I'm feeling disconnected from my partner, I am going to bring it to their attention, not in a confrontational way, but in a way that's like, listen, I miss you. I feel like we need to do a little bit more reconnecting. How can we do that? What works for you? And throw out ideas. Share this information that I am sharing with you with them. Share this episode with your partner so they are also included in the things that I am saying. So they hear it from someone else. Maybe that's not you. Okay. Maybe they need to just be reminded that it's the little things that matter so deeply, done consistently, that help reconnect you to your partner when life does get crazy, when life does get in the way, and to remember to have some fun and to laugh with each other and to not take everything so seriously, you know? So be intentional, do the little things frequently and often, and it's going to feel a little bit less of a scary burden to have to reconnect with your partner. Sometimes people say, how do we reconnect? How do I keep the spark alive? And the thought of having to do that sometimes feels really overwhelming. But when you remember that I can just start doing the little things more frequently and encourage my partner to do the same, maybe it becomes a little bit more digestible for you. All right. I love you guys so much. If you seek support, if you feel like there's something deeper that's come between you and your partner than just, a lack of connection, and there's something preventing you from wanting to connect with your partner or wanting to reconnect intimately with them emotionally and or physically, maybe there's some root cause happening there. Maybe there's some friction. Maybe there's some resentment. Maybe there is something going on in your relationship that's preventing you guys from coming back to each other, that you need to talk through, that you need to work through, that maybe you need some more support kind of helping you navigate and get down to the root of what's really going on between the two of you. And I can help with that. So if you feel like booking a session, book a session. The link is available in the caption of this episode. If you want to apply to work with me long-term for my 3-month private coaching program, I have some spots available for you to apply, and maybe you just need to be doing some deep work to get your relationship back on track if the little things aren't really working for you and there's something deeper really going on there, okay? And that work can be done individually if you need some individual support, or as a couple if you need some couples support too. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Patreon. That link is also available in the caption of this episode as well. And my husband and I will talk about some of the things that we do to reconnect with each other. And new episode will be dropping on Friday. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, you have any comments, comment on this episode. And I would love it if you could rate and review the Relationship Boss Academy. And I hope you have an amazing, if you're listening to this in the morning, afternoon, or night, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night, my loves.